And we're live. Hello, welcome to the second episode of Ask Me About My Draculas, the show where we explain supernatural-related television and books and movies. I'm Kel McDonald, and I do comics that you can find over at kelmcdonald.com. It includes the webcomic Sorcery 101 and a comic for Dark Horse called Misfits of Avalon.
I'm Kara Leopard, and I have a webcomic called TS14 that you can find at ts14comic.tumblr.com.
And in this episode, we are going to explain MTV's Teen Wolf and the cavalcade of shirtless men that it is. And our guest is Amanda. Introduce yourself, Amanda.
I'm Amanda Lafrenais. I do a webcomic called Love Me Nice, which you can find at lovemenicecomic.com. I'm also doing a story for the Smut Peddler Anthology, which is running a Kickstarter right now, and I think it's got 60 hours left.
Yes.
So, hey.
So you should all go support Smut Peddler.
Yep. So yeah, that's me.
And so, Amanda, you have not seen MTV's Teen Wolf, but have you seen the original movie Teen Wolf? Because maybe we should explain that too.
I saw it when I was very small, and I remember little except it was funny, Michael J. Fox, goofy werewolf costume, and basketball.
Yes, apparently becoming a werewolf. So the basic plot of Michael J. Fox's Teen Wolf movie is he is a teen, he becomes a werewolf, and then he's magically amazing at basketball because apparently part of werewolfism is that you're amazing at sports, which is a running theme in all Teen Wolf-related things. There's also a sequel to Michael J. Fox's Teen Wolf, where his cousin finds out he's also a Teen Wolf, and then he's really good at boxing.
That is my favorite part of werewolf lore. Yes.
But the difference with the movie and the show is in the movie it was like puberty, right?
Yeah, and it's basically he comes from a long line of werewolves, and puberty activates your werewolfness in the movies. And also, no one really gave a shit that he was a werewolf in either movie. They're just like, well, that's cool, you're hairy now, and you're good at sports, so we like you, in a very 80s way.
Beautiful.
And the only thing that the movie and the TV show have in common, besides the name, is that Styles is in all Teen Wolf-related things. So apparently that's what they decided is important to the Teen Wolf franchise. The name, werewolves, and Styles. And do you want to start explaining the MTV show, Kara, or...?
Yeah, sure, I'll start it off. So it starts off a lot like, well, I was like, there's a movie, I don't remember what it is now, but it's like there's a call, and there's a dead body in the woods. So Styles, being BFF, is like, hey, Scott, let's go find this dead body in the woods.
Styles, in his infinite stroke of good ideas, is like, there's a dead body in the woods and possibly a crazy murderer, so let's go find both those things. And, of course, shenanigans happens, and you get a fairly cliche scene in all sort of werewolf stories where there's the person in the woods and you see them get attacked by an animal, and then suddenly they have wolfy powers.
Yes.
One of my favorite things is that, like, Scott apparently is supposed to be, like, a super nerd or something, so they give him an inhaler.
Yes.
They don't really, like, establish his nerdiness other than the fact that he has asthma.
I think it's not so much that he's supposed to be a nerd, it's just that he's supposed to be shitty at sports. Because he has asthma. Because I don't know anyone who's good at sports that also has asthma. That's why. Yeah, so it's like, oh, you don't need an inhaler anymore, so that's weird, and now you're magically the best lacrosse player in the history of lacrosse.
Of all the things to be the best at, lacrosse.
And so because he's now super awesome at lacrosse, douchebag jock guy Jackson is all mad and grumpy that he's no longer the best at lacrosse. So then he kind of starts to be a dick to Scott for no reason, and kind of starts to sort of spy on him. And he tries to figure out what drugs is Scott taking to be good at sports. Because I appreciate that Jackson jumps to steroids before he jumps to supernatural reasons.
He's a reasonable douchebag.
But also in the first episode, there's a new girl in school whose last name is Argent, and that is French for silver, so you know she...
Oh, no.
There's deep and meaningful things going on. And then...
if someone doesn't use her as a weapon, I will be very disappointed.
It turns out that she's from a long line of werewolf hunters.
No, that's disappointing, because I kind of... Aww.
She is Scott's weakness, though. We could, in theory, establish that as a pattern.
That's not the same kind of weakness, but I'll buy it. I'll go with it. I'll roll with it.
He also runs into a grumpy older werewolf who's not so much a teen wolf as a college-age wolf. But he hangs out with all these high schoolers because there are no problems or raised eyebrows there.
He does look around the high school an awful lot.
Yeah, he hangs out around. He's a college-age person who just hangs out at the high school a lot. And it turns out that the dead body in the woods was his sister. So he's all grumpy about that. And he's going to be the Obi-Wan to Scott's Luke about werewolfness. And so the beginning is really, really awkward and poorly edited, and to the point where in the first episode they show the face of one of the werewolf hunters that shoots Scott, and it's like the way they present it is like it's a dramatic reveal. So I had actually assumed that this was a guy that we had met earlier in the episode and I had just forgotten about, because it was presented as that bum 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 moment. But then like 10 minutes later it cuts to them at school and he's being flirty with Allison Argent, and then when she gets picked up from school they do another bum 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 moment, and it's like, oh wait, it's her dad. That was supposed to be the dramatic reveal.
Oh.
So her dad is werewolf hunter extraordinaire. And the whole first season revolves around trying to figure out who is the werewolf that bit Scott.
Is her dad hot?
Yes, her dad's super hot.
Okay, I needed visuals.
I feel like her dad might be the hottest dude on the show.
He's definite silver fox material. Like, he's grumpy pretty.
Let's all just think about her dad.
I know.
Well, I have to think about what I assume he looks like. I assume they're all CW pretty. Are they CW pretty?
His dad is not CW pretty because he's too old to be CW pretty.
He's too old to be CW pretty?
Yeah.
Good, then I can imagine him naked then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone else is CW pretty.
CW pretty is a kind of, it's the one kind of attractiveness I can't quite get into. It's like, you look like you're, you know when plastic sweats?
Yes.
That's what their skin makes me think of.
I feel
Plastic
like
sweats.
while a lot of the people on Teen Wolf are CW pretty, especially the girls, sometimes the guys get into that vaguely ethnic territory that CW tends to steer away from.
Oh, so they look like humans.
They still look kind of plasticky. They look like vaguely ethnic plastic people.
Oh.
Pretty fair assessment.
But
well, I really like with the hunters and the family. Like, they always talk about how like the women are the leaders of the hunters.
that's later though. They don't start that until the second season. Let's finish talking about the first season first. So You have, besides Scott and his friend Styles, also Styles carries the whole show. He clearly is the best actor on the show, and he also gets all the best lines. Then you have Allison, who is love interest that's being trained to be his enemy. Then you have grumpy older werewolf. We talked about Jackson and his douchebagness. Jackson's girlfriend is kind of like stereotypical popular girl, and Styles has a crush on her. But then it turns out that she's secretly a super genius.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually pretty cool. And then it turns out that like grumpy Obi-Wan werewolf, whose name is Derek, his entire family got brutally murdered by the Argents when he was a wee babby. And so he has a big old chip on his shoulder. And his only surviving family is his uncle that's burnt all to hell and is in the hospital. And big twist, turns out uncle that's in the hospital is the alpha werewolf that bit Scott, because in Teen Wolf only the alpha werewolves can bite people and turn them into werewolves, which is how they know that grumpy Derek didn't do it.
Mm.
And then Allison's aunt shows up, and it turns out she is super duper cray cray, and she's the one that burnt down the werewolf house.
Werewolf house.
Yeah, she flirted with Derek, and they made eyes at each other, and she basically used him so she could burn down his house and kill his whole family.
But like the super creepy part about it was she was like what, late 20s, and he was like 13 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're the easiest to fool. They don't know what they're just being led around by their hormones.
No, I feel like maybe he was like 16, 17, which still easy to fool. Not as creepy as 20-year-old hitting on a 13.
Just as easy to fool, not as creepy.
Yeah.
That just though if it was a 13-year-old, that just makes me think how easy the line, you know what's sexy? Arson would be.
I feel like that's a thing that she would say. And then Grandpa, the uncle comes out of his coma, is trying to like blackmail Scott into like joining his pack, and he's being stereotypical evil guy, mwahaha. In fact, Scott's mom is a single mom, and so this alpha guy, in a way to like fuck with Scott's life, asks Scott's mom on a date.
Wait, is Alpha Guy hot?
I don't think so.
I could understand if someone thought he was hot. I'm just kind of like, he's eh.
Okay, continue.
His mom, though, is pretty good looking.
Okay, good. That's good.
But yeah, and I actually like later on, there's a comment, like, it's just long enough where some people might have forgotten that Scott's mom and this dude went on a date, but, like, at some point in the future, there's a part where this creepy uncle guy is like, yeah, you know, Scott's mom's really hot. And I was like, oh, I'm glad that the date wasn't just evil, like, shenanigans. I'm glad that he recognizes that Scott's mom's a catch. And
like, you can be creepy and you can be evil, but do you love her?
Yeah, that's clear, because Scott's mom is great. The thing I appreciate about Teen Wolf is all the parents are well-rounded characters and do get, like, their own kind of lives outside whatever their teenagers are doing. So, douchebag jock guy finds out about werewolves and right before the finale, and he ends up like helping out bad guys because he wants to be a werewolf, so that way he can once again be the best at lacrosse.
So is that his arc? Is that his entire arc? Is just the journey to remain the best at lacrosse.
That's his arc for the first season.
It really is, because there's this point where, like, it just goes to him practicing lacrosse in the middle of the night, like, by himself in the woods.
And this is before he knows that there's werewolves, so he's just, like, infuriated that this person's better than him. So he has to train at lacrosse until he's the best, and his lacrosse level is over 9,000.
So in this entire show with this, like, these werewolf subplots and supernatural elements, this one guy's only character arc is lacrosse.
But until the season 2. He gets more in season 2. Because each season is rather short. It's like 12 episodes. So... Meanwhile, they find out the way to cure Scott of being a werewolf is that he has to kill the werewolf that bit him.
Mm-hmm.
But since, and then any werewolf that wants to be an alpha wolf needs to kill an alpha to take their alpha powers. So during the big climax, grumpy werewolf guy, Derek, he is about to kill creepy alpha uncle guy. And so he can be the alpha, and then Scott's all like, no, don't do it, I need to be cured and not be a teen wolf anymore. And Derek is just like, too bad. It kills him, becomes the alpha, end season.
Wait. Are there just like a... How do you become an alpha if one's not been killed before you?
That seems to be how they're population controlling werewolves.
But who was the first alpha?
We don't know.
I
Yeah.
don't...
That's a good question. They haven't gone over that at all.
I feel like they've sort of explained it in the newest season.
Okay.
So we'll get to that.
What are the privileges of being alpha? Is it just that you can turn other wolves? Or turn other people
turn
into
other
wolves?
wolves, and then you're slightly stronger than all the other wolves.
Oh, slightly stronger?
Well, apparently you get your
It's
power
basic-
from your pack.
Yeah, it's basically the more wolves are in a pack, the more everyone gets stronger, and then the alpha gets, like... So, like, to put this in video game terms... Everyone gets +1 strength if they're in a pack, but the alpha gets +2 strength. And then you add another person, and everyone else gets another +1, and the alpha gets another +2.
Well, you can't really limit the number of alphas because it sounds like they stay constant.
What I'm saying is adding wolves underneath them.
No, I was just saying in general.
Yeah.
Because if you kill an alpha, you become... Well, what if a human kills an alpha? Is that an alpha lost?
Yes, but they have a way to replenish alphas.
How?
That is discussed in the 3rd season that we'll get to.
How? Okay. Oh, okay. You're gonna make me wait for this. All right.
Yes. So then
My burning questions.
So then we get season 2, where everyone who's a main character pretty much knows about werewolves, except for super genius popular girl, who knows something's up, just no one's telling her anything.
Well, wait, Ann Styles' dad, right?
Well, I said the main teens.
Oh, okay.
So the only adult that knows is Allison's parents, because they're werewolf hunters, so of course they know about werewolves. And they know that he's a werewolf because of all the shit that went down in the first season. And so they're all like, Allison, don't go dating no werewolves. Not good plans. So then we get douchebag popular guy is all excited that he suddenly gets to be a werewolf, but then he doesn't become a werewolf, so he gets really upset because shit didn't work. And instead he's bleeding like black goo out of his nose. So he's upset because he is once again not the best at lacrosse.
But then Derek is going around town and taking all the like unpopular kids and biting them.
Not just unpopular kids. He's all the like kids that have problems and hard family life. It's basically, he's like going, well, who are the troubled children in town? And making them werewolves to join his pack. So he like gets one kid whose dad beats him and he doesn't have a mom. So like, hey, you can be a werewolf and then use your werewolf powers to kill your abusive asshole dad.
Sounds like a good plan to me, yes.
And then there's a girl who has epilepsy, and he's like, I'll make you a werewolf, and then your epilepsy will be cured.
So is it like they're then indebted to him for this gift?
That's sort of what he's going for, but I don't think he's thinking it that much through. He just wants to help them.
Because that's then a lot of werewolves, it sounds, are troubled people in general, and probably not reliable.
It's
in
the
terms
whole
of
thing,
like the troubled
I
youth
always
versions.
interpreted it as this. It's not like a malicious thing where he wants them to be indebted to him and feel like they have to stay. It's more he's sad and lonely and being like, I want a family. Who else is sad and lonely and wants a family? These people.
So he's like interpreting the Wolfpack thing as the family unit thing.
Yeah. Because he grew up as a werewolf with all his werewolf family, so it's really kind of sad and pathetic the way he is making his pack. Meanwhile, he's being all grumpy and gruff still. And then there's like one kid, the one black guy that's in the show thus far is one of the kids that he turns into a werewolf, and it's kind of weird because they don't really establish like why he feels isolated. So the best guess I can come up with is maybe he feels isolated because he's the only black person in town. As far as I know, he's the only black person in town, except for a few of the police officers.
And Deaton.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Scott's boss, who's a veterinarian, is also a black guy who knows a lot of random shit about Supernatural.
As you do.
Yeah. So they're all like, oh, we don't know what to do, and then he's like, hey, so did you know that there's this magic wood ash that helps, like, repel supernatural stuff? Just FYI, and then he leaves the room.
Fair enough.
We forgot to talk about the coach, who is my favorite character.
Oh my gosh, Coach Cupcake's amazing.
Coach Cupcake?
Is that really his name?
No, like he couldn't pronounce Styles' name, so he was like he's like, I want to be called Cupcake, but no one gets to call me that, or something like that. And so that's just what I've called him. I have no idea what his real name is.
Okay. So the coach is a beautiful comic relief character because he is always on the periphery of whatever conflict is going on, so he just sees weird shit and then comes up to his own conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And usually his conclusion is funny. Like, Scott's acting weird now that he's a werewolf, and all the coach sees is Scott acting weird, so he's like, hey, Scott, I wanted to talk to you about you acting all weird. Are you gay? Because it's okay if you're gay, and you should tell your teammates to build trust. I mean, Danny on the team is gay, so maybe you should ask Danny out. And Scott is all like, I don't want to ask out Danny. And he's like, why don't you want to ask out Danny? Danny's a handsome boy. And that is a good summarization.
This was a self-esteem building exercise. Why are you trying to break down Danny?
Yeah. That's basically like the coach in a nutshell.
Don't listen to him, Danny. You're beautiful.
Also, Danny is douchebag Jock's gay best friend, and the whole show is very pro gay people in general. Like, they always find ways to have gay best friend Danny be involved in the plot without figuring out what's going on. Then, so season 2, they suddenly have Derek building his troubled teen pack. And then Scott, meanwhile, is trying to get back in dating Allison. Allison's grandpa has showed up, and he's even more psycho, crazy murder person than the daughter. And then they start talking about how the women in the Argent family are really the leaders, but they don't actually do anything. This is a lot of, we're going to tell you that they're in charge, but we're not actually going to show you them being in charge.
Well, wait, hey, doesn't the thing with the mom happen before the grandpa shows up, or is that after?
The grandpa is in town when that happens. He's just not being very active until after. Because he shows up in the first episode and has that very dramatic cutting a dude in half moment.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. Grandpa Argent's super cray-cray.
Oh dear.
And then there's a lizard monster going around killing people. And the Argents are all like, well, clearly this is werewolves. And then it's like, actually, no, wait, lizard monster. Crazy lizard monster.
And then with the lizard monster, there's this new kid that keeps taking pictures of Allison all the time and, like, following her around.
A creepy stalker to Allison. And there's a lizard monster going around killing people. And then, meanwhile, super genius popular girl, Lydia, is, like, having weird visions and shit. And is stumbling on all these dead bodies. It's basically her superpower is that she finds the dead bodies.
Wow, I decided while you're talking about this to look up pictures of the cast.
Yeah.
I could easily see myself, like, stumbling through episodes and skimming and having no idea who these characters are because they all look really similar.
And, so then, they think that, because Super Genius Popular Girl is having visions, that, she is maybe secretly the lizard monster and doesn't know it. Because she's, like, blacking out, going into trances, having visions, and then finding dead bodies. But it turns out that creepy Uncle Alpha, who was killed, is somehow giving her these visions from beyond the grave.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to use her to bring himself back to life, which he succeeds in doing before the season's over. And then,
Wait, you mean crazy alpha uncle comes back to life?
Yeah.
Does he lose his alpha status upon being brought to life, or?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Because Derek has his alpha E-powers in him.
I see.
And then meanwhile, everyone's realizing that Derek's not a very good alpha. And Scott is doing a better job being the leader. And,
It's just funny, because I think Scott just is going around just, like, being like, Derek, no! Derek, no!
Yeah, Scott is mostly going around being like, Derek, you're making all the bad decisions! And that makes him a better leader than Derek. He's also being very protective of his friends. So the werewolf pack and the werewolf hunters think that Lydia, the popular girl, is the evil lizard monster. But then it turns out that, surprise, evil lizard monster is the douchebag jock guy, because apparently when you are bit by a werewolf and have no friends, you turn into a lizard monster instead.
Mm-hmm.
So then it turns out that douchebag jock lizard monster is being controlled by the creepy stalker who's taking all the pictures, because the creepy stalker is scared of water and almost drowned when he was a kid, and because of drunk swim team people being jerks to him and pushing him in the water when he couldn't swim.
Uh-huh.
So,
very, very good antagonist motivations, yes.
So all the people that the lizard monster has been killing were on the swim team of the high school 10 years ago. And
he needed a lizard person to get this done?
he thought it was a way for him to not get caught, because then it was clearly not him.
Is this guy a witch? What's his deal? How does
It was basically the lizard monster needs someone to give it orders, regardless. So he just stumbled upon Lizard Monster.
While he was blank and waiting for orders?
Yep.
Okay.
Because what happened is douchebag Jock wanted to record the first time he becomes a werewolf, so he borrowed this camera kid's camera, and that's how Camera Kid found out that douchebag Jock was a lizard monster.
I see.
It was funny, though, because everyone assumed that douchebag Jock was just making a sex tape.
I see.
Because why else would you need a camera for your bedroom that can go all night?
Ghosts?
Ghosts. And then Grandpa Argent of the Werewolf Hunters, because he's cray-cray, he kills the shitty camera kid and then takes control of the lizard monster. And then is going to use the lizard monster to kill all the werewolves.
So anyone could come in control of the lizard monster?
Like, kill the person he's taking orders from first.
I see.
So basically, if you wanted to take control of Lizard Monster, you would have to kill Grandpa Argent.
I see.
Now, the way they figure out, and now everyone's all like, well, we have to kill the Lizard Monster, and Scott's like, no, I want to save douchebag Jock, because he's my friend, kinda? And there is a beautiful scene where Scott, Styles, and Allison are freaking out because they had Jackson contained, but now he's going to go on a killing spree because they accidentally lost him. And then they're all like, hey, you know what we need? Adults. We should find some adults. And I appreciate that because usually in these teen shows that is not a thing that ever happens.
Yeah.
But during all the lizard monster drama, Scott's mom finds out and freaks out a little bit, but she gets over it.
That's nice.
It seems like one parent is allowed to find out each season. And so then they're having their big climactic moment where they're fighting the lizard monster, but also trying to stop Grandpa Argent. And the way they stop the lizard monster is Lydia, douchebag Jock's girlfriend, tells her that she loves him and holds him. She saves him with the power of love.
I'm really disappointed that she does not save him with the power of lacrosse. That is his entire character, and lacrosse is not involved in his salvation.
I just like the idea that if you get bit by a werewolf and are a douchebag with no friends, you become a lizard monster and only true love can save you.
I'm sorry, I'm still disappointed.
The power of lacrosse. Also, during the big final lacrosse game before the climax, the coach, to inspire the team, recites the speech from the movie Independence Day.
Because they're playing against aliens.
Clearly.
Big motivational speech. Hey, but in that game, that's when Styles plays really well.
Yeah, the Styles has never been able to leave the bench until this game.
Oh, so he just had to pretend he was Will Smith.
Yes, clearly.
He had to get into that Will Smith headspace, and then he
had to go welcome to Earth and punch someone.
Yes. That was his mantra throughout the whole game. Welcome to Earth, welcome to Earth, welcome to Earth.
So then, after all the lizard monster stuff is done, and they save Jackson, and now Jackson is a teen wolf like everyone else. Now Jackson has to...
Oh, so he's not a lizard anymore. True love transformed him Disney princess style into a werewolf.
Yes.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
And then the actor left the show. So they probably should have just killed that character.
I like the idea that it's like Beauty and the Beast, except it's like a more appealing beast.
Yeah.
Like you're just a more tolerable and easy to sexify beast.
And then he leaves the show because CW said, your abs are very nice abs, and we'll give you more money to show off your abs on CW than on MTV. So now that actor is on Arrow.
Is he the main character?
No.
That's all I know. I watched that show once when it never came back.
But
he's the other Speedy? Roy? I don't know.
It doesn't matter because they're not Teen Wolves. So, then season 3 starts, and then creepy uncle that used to be an alpha is all like, hey Derek, you need to get your shit together about being an alpha because a pack of alphas is coming.
Do they get like more multipliers for being a pack of alphas?
I guess.
Okay.
And the way you join the pack of alphas is you kill your entire pack yourself.
What if you only have a pack of one?
It's really easy for you.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not much of an achievement.
And in the pack of alphas is the Voltron wolf, who they're twin werewolves who they mush together and they become a bigger werewolf.
What?
Yes.
Like what?
Like the fusion dance on Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, alright, okay, I can get behind that, but like, what's the transformation like? Is it just like the fusion dance where it's like you don't really see anything happen?
They kind of, like, the one time they show it, it's like one twin puts his arms on the other twin's back and then kind of seeps into the other twin.
Yeah.
As a twin, I found it very disturbing.
I just like that they're a Voltron werewolf.
Can you only do this if you're twin werewolves?
I guess so. Because they're the only ones to do it thus far.
And you can only become a werewolf by being bit by an alpha?
Yes.
So, could an alpha go and bite, like Octomom's kids?
I know, that's what I wonder. And then we have even more of a Voltron werewolf.
Have, just a huge...
It'd be like your werewolf Megazord.
But does it only work if you're identical twins?
I don't know. This
raises so many questions.
These are unanswered questions of amazement.
These are very super important questions.
If you chop off its arm, whose arm was that? Both of their arms?
We don't know. We don't know. So now you have a pack of alphas who are all being bossed around by an alpha.
What? What determines that you're the alpha?
Is he bosses everyone else around.
Okay.
And he has a magic voice that shakes the earth.
Oh my gosh.
With its melodrama.
Oh.
He makes melodramatic speeches that cause earthquakes.
Actual earthquakes?
Yes.
Oh god.
And he's voiced by the dude who's a pirate in Final Fantasy XII. That's
that's lost on me.
I know that this bad guy was in. He was the voice of the pirate in Final Fantasy XII.
When you say voice,
in Final Fantasy XII.
No. I've never seen seen that game, so I don't know what you're talking about anyway.
It's the actor in the show.
Okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah, no, it's the actor in the show. He is the voice of the pirate in 12.
Okay. It made it sound like this was an actor being dubbed.
Oh, okay.
Because his voice wasn't thunderous enough.
So while the alphas are in town, there are sacrifices going on for some reason. First, 3 virgins are sacrificed, and then 3 scholars, and then 3 like military people.
I was about to say the first 6 would be really easy if most of your story takes place near a high school.
Right.
Then the last 3, I was like, oh wait. Well,
And then
no, they could have a
one-
JROCT program.
Yeah, that's pretty much how they got some of the military people.
Haha.
It was like one of the, basically, they knew like what the categories were, but they didn't know the order that they were going to get killed in. So like one of the teachers got killed, and it was like, oh, they're going to go kill scholars next. But then it turned out that that teacher used to be in the military, so they like just were like, so that like caught them off guard that they were supposed to be military people killed next.
Ah.
And then healers were supposed to be killed next, and then guardians were next.
That's vague.
Yeah, it was intentionally vague to keep the main characters all like, we don't know what
It
to
could
go
be
after.
literally anyone.
Yeah, so guardians, they thought like cops were all gonna get killed. So that made them worry about Styles' dad, who's the sheriff.
Like, that could be a grandmother.
Well, it turns out it's all the main characters' parents. So
Oh.
that's how Styles' dad gets clued in on supernatural stuff, because they kidnap him and
Supernatural him?
yeah. They kidnap him and they're gonna sacrifice him for supernatural reasons. So
are werewolves doing sacrifices?
no, it turns out it's someone that was mauled by a werewolf and now has I forget what she's. Oh, she's an evil druid. That's what she is.
Wait, because she was mauled by a werewolf?
They're never really clear on that.
I thought she like died, but they like buried her near a tree or something.
Yeah, they buried her near a special tree, and then she came back to life because of the special tree. So
it's
or she just
it's a
didn't
life-giving
die. She
tree.
got super close to death and didn't die because of the special tree. And then she became an evil druid. So she's the one going around sacrificing people. So because she wants to be powerful enough to kill all the Alpha Pack.
I see.
And then,
But she's also begging Derek, so.
yeah, she's basically fucking Derek the entire time.
I see.
And then there's a really awkward scene where in an elevator she explains Norse mythology to Derek.
Uh-oh.
The Teen Wolf also has a lot of times where they try to explain things to you to prove that they're smart. So like, hey audience, today we're going to talk about what's an unreliable narrator.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole episode is explaining to you what an unreliable narrator is, so that way when they use it later on, you know that they're lying.
I see.
And the whole time that this shenanigans is going on, Scott is coming up with a plan that is to make sure no one dies. Because everyone else seems to be, well, we either have to help the Alpha Pack, or we have to help the evil druid lady. Both of which want to murder a fuck ton of people. And Scott is all like, how about we not murder a shit ton of people?
Mm-hmm.
Hey?
Revolutionary.
Simply by coming up with those ideas makes him the best leader. So he starts to slowly have bursts of alpha powers because he is a quote-unquote true alpha. And that is how they replenish the alpha population.
Wait, does that mean you can become an alpha by like
being a good
shonen hero, pure-heartedness and determination?
Exactly.
Okay, if you're a shonen hero, you can become an alpha. Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
That's how they replenish their alpha population.
So, like, a lot of werewolf rules seems like they're very good person friendly. Like if you're a douche, you turn into a lizard monster, and like their leaders are meant to be like the best of us.
Yes.
It's
Right.
very interesting.
Right.
Werewolf rules are not douche friendly.
Right.
They are not.
Because you get a power up if you have a pack, so the power of friendship makes you a better werewolf.
I'm gonna load up and draw while we talk for the rest of the time.
So they stop the evil druid lady, and then they somehow get rid of all the alpha powers of Pack Alpha, which forces them to all leave town, because now they're shitty and don't have powers.
Except for the twins.
They don't have alpha powers. They still have base werewolf powers.
Oh, yeah.
They can still Voltron it up.
They never Voltron after not being alphas, so maybe they lost the Voltron power too. Maybe that was an alpha perk.
Oh, but in season 2, Allison's mom tried to kill Scott and Derek bit her.
So Allison's mom killed herself?
Yes. So Allison is very upset with wolves in general.
So Allison went a bit crazy at the end of season 2 when all the lizard monster stuff was going on.
Oh dear.
She gets over it though after she finds out that her mom was maybe a little bit cray-cray. Because she tried to kill Scott. So basically she got bit by Derek while Derek was trying to save Scott from Allison's mom.
Oh.
So then, to stop the evil druid lady, they did this like ritual thing to contact the other side.
Well, what just happened?
I don't know. I think we had a hiccup in our broadcast. Is everyone back?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. We had technical difficulties. It said the server had to restart or something. So where was I? They're doing some ritual thingy with the other side. And Allison, Styles, and Scott had to have some like spiritual shenanigans to help them stop the evil druid lady. And that lets an evil kitsune possess Styles for the rest of the season.
I forgot. Yes, you mentioned once before the evil kitsune, and I'm like, oh dear.
And I think it possessed Styles because he's the best actor, so he's the best at pulling off two completely different personalities.
I just like the fact that an evil kitsune is called a no-kitsune.
I beg your pardon?
They call it a no-kitsune in the show.
I think something is flying over my head.
It's no good, Sune.
Oh.
So there's a pun in there.
No wonder I didn't like it.
But meanwhile, when the show was all like, yes, there'll be some Japanese kitsunes in this season, and then mysteriously this Japanese family moves to town, and I was like, I wonder who the kitsunes are. And then Scott's deadbeat dad also comes to town and is an FBI agent and is all like, hey, Sheriff Stilinski, did you know that all your cases are unsolved and there's a lot of shenanigans in the crime of this area? And so the whole time...
Wait, what's the sheriff? Wait.
The sheriff is Styles' dad.
And what was his last name?
Stilinski.
Oh. That's
why
an awkward name.
Styles is...
Oh, it's not his first name.
Yeah. Apparently no one can pronounce Styles' first name. That's the running joke, is that you never get to find out what it is, because when people read it, they're like, I have no idea how to say that, so I'm just going to go with Styles.
I see.
And so basically, Styles' dad is busy being treated like shit by Scott's dad, and everyone is all like, man, Scott's dad, you're terrible. And there is Kitsune shenanigans going on. Styles can't sleep because there's an evil Kitsune in him. And then, because apparently when you go to sleep, that's when evil Kitsune can take control. Then, you find out that the reason why Super Genius Popular Girl is getting all of these visions is because she is a banshee.
And banshees are known for
the power to
visions.
find the dead bodies is because she's a banshee.
Right. Very common in banshee lore.
Well, banshee lore is that you scream when someone dies, so...
Yeah.
That sort of fits. She finds the dead body and then screams. So now that she knows that that's what her weird visions are connected to, she now can predict when someone's, like, about to die.
Because she screams?
Because she senses it.
But she does scream a lot.
She knows she's supposed to scream.
Right. She has a sudden urge to scream. And then, what next? So then it turns out that Japanese family that just moved to town, the mom and the daughter are both Kitsune. And so the mom has been searching for this evil Kitsune since World War II. And she has been sending her tails after it. And when she, like, breaks off one of her tails, it turns into an Oni, like, ninja thing that silently stalks and tries to find out who is possessed by the evil Kitsune.
Gotcha.
They're just going around, like, jumping people. And meanwhile, Scott and Allison have broken up, and then Allison has responded by making goo-goo eyes at the werewolf whose dad was beating him up. So Allison's dad is like, really? Another werewolf? You know, for a werewolf hunter person, you should maybe stop dating werewolves.
Right.
But Allison has a type, and he'll just have to deal with it. And then Scott is once again all like, we need to not kill Styles. Who cares if he's possessed by evilness and is going around killing people? We got to, like, get the evilness out of him. And no one knows. Everyone else is getting, like, manipulated by the evil Kitsune. And so Derek almost kills Allison's dad because, hey, you burnt down my family, so I'm going to burn you. What is going on, and other lovely nonsense.
But you have to note that, again, the Styles' actor was fantastic.
Yeah, he is the best actor in the show, period.
Right.
If they lose him, this show is doomed.
And he's not even the main character.
Yeah. So they eventually, like, figure out, they do that thing where they go into Styles' mind to help him fight the Kitsune. Cause
I can't draw.
They go into the mindscape and fight the Kitsune there.
Gotcha.
And then they find out that the Yakuza are involved. And
of course.
Then, what else?
Oh, man.
What am I missing?
There was that episode that was nothing but, like, the mom telling her daughter about, like, her love life and the...
That was more backstory for the evil Kitsune. It turns out the mom was in a Japanese internment camp, and she summoned the kitsune because of bad shit that went down in the internment camp. So it's her fault that this evil kitsune is running around. And then she locked it in the magic tree that they used to defeat the evil druid. So it's kind of like...
That tree is pretty important.
Yeah, that tree keeps coming up. That tree is almost like the Hellmouth.
Oh.
It's kind of the MacGuffin as to why all that shit keeps coming up. Then we have, they obviously save Styles, but Allison ends up dying in the process. She gets killed by evil demon thingies. Because the evil kitsune takes control of Mommy Kitsune's, ninja shadow warrior things. And then they kill her.
Oh dear.
But the whole time the teenager kitsune girl, not the mom kitsune girl, is making all the eyes at Scott. And they're actually a really cute couple, so I hope that this girl stays on the show. Because you get a lot of stuff that's like she's trying to be smooth in front of Scott and be flirty, and then all of a sudden it's like her dad comes up, because her dad's their new history teacher, and is like, hey, I remember you wanted me to get information on that kid that you liked, Scott McCall, not knowing that that's who she's talking to at right that minute.
Oh dear.
So there's a lot of trying to be smooth flirting, and then embarrassment happens on both sides. It's pretty adorable. And that is where season 3 ends up, with just they save Styles and Allison's dead, and people are sad.
And one of the twins is dead, which...
Yeah, and then the other twin left town because now he has no one to Voltron werewolf with.
Aww.
And that's where the show leaves off, and it's none of the guys know how to keep their shirts on.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
And they like to flip and like do jumps and stuff for no reason.
Yeah. That's an important part of combat.
Are they particularly athletic?
Huh?
Are they athletic people?
Well, they're all super into lacrosse, because as we've proven, lacrosse is the most important thing in the universe.
Well, my brother is super into various sports, but I mean, I wouldn't call him muscular.
They're all people attempting to be the best at lacrosse.
I see.
There's also some beautiful bullshit that's stuff like all the werewolves have glowy yellow eyes, except some of them have glowy blue eyes, and that is because they have killed someone. And the reason why the ones that have killed someone have glowy blue eyes is because their inner wolf is sad and crying.
So wait. So you have this supernatural ability that turns you into, relative to being a human, something that is faster and stronger and easier at killing things.
Yes.
But their entire culture seems to revolve around being nice and not killing anything.
Yes.
And if you are a psycho murderer wolf, then your eyes are a dead giveaway.
Right.
But it doesn't cover accidents because so the only werewolf in the first season that has blue eyes is Derek, and they don't explain it until later that he basically did sort of a mercy killing to his girlfriend when he was a teenager. Then that makes his eyes blue.
I get it if it's like based off real wolves, because real wolves are all about, you know, family and getting along and shit, but then I think about things like Voltron Wolf, and I'm like, I don't understand. And the alpha thing, and how you get out, you know, it's like,
+2 for friendship.
It's very weird. Well, that is true. When you word it like that they get powers for having lots of friends.
Yeah. They get a power-up for friendship.
So all these bad werewolves are fighting against their nature, basically.
Yeah, they're just being douchebags.
Oh, wait, hey, Cal, do you know why some of them can turn into wolves and some of them can't?
No, they haven't explained that at all. So some of them turn into actual wolves, Amanda, and some of them just get kind of a bumpy face.
Could it be a budget problem?
It could be.
It could be a budget problem. I mean, that's why they keep losing actors, is because no one wants to stick around, because apparently it doesn't pay very well.
Oh dear.
Because we have basically everyone who has left the show, it is the actor's idea to leave the show. It is not the writer's idea. Like, so two of the people that were, there were like interviews with the creators, and the girl in Derek's Troubled Teen Pack said she wanted to leave the show because she had a better job offer or whatever. And so they had to kill her, but they had planned this whole like storyline between her and the only black werewolf.
Right.
And they're like, well, now we don't know what to do with the black werewolf. Like, this lady leaving for a better paycheck basically killed both these these characters' stories. And then there's the douchebag Jock who wanted to be best at lacrosse. He left the show to go show off his abs for the CW for more money. And then the girl who plays Allison, again, she left because she wanted to get more money somewhere else. And now the kid who had the abusive dad, he's leaving the show next season. Like, he's not coming back next season.
Wait, what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they said in an interview that he's not coming back next season for whatever God knows reason. Probably because he needs more money. Because he's been in movies and stuff, and
Yeah.
so it seems like they are losing actors fairly quickly to higher paying shows.
Oh my.
But yeah, now the entire original Derek's Troubled Teen Pack is gone.
Wow, yeah.
Is he still an alpha?
Yeah. Just all of his pack left the show.
Aww. The thing he was scared of most happened.
Yep. Nobody likes him. And they do a really good job with how they treat minorities, though, because despite having the only one black guy, like, there's a lot of everyone else. They're doing a good job with everyone else.
Everyone else, you know.
Yeah. Well, so it's like the other black character, he's the only black werewolf left the show, but like the vet has his shit together, and he's like their go-to person where we need an adult! Help!
Yeah.
We need an adult. And it seems like the vet knew, and the vet knew from the start that there was werewolf shenanigans going on. It was like, hey Scott, so you're a werewolf, huh? Interesting. Here's some shit you should know about werewolves. And then he was the one who was all like, this is some poison stuff that will knock out the kitsune. And
So this is someone who probably studied animals, bitterly annoyed that supernatural stuff wasn't real.
he's apparently a good druid. That came up when they were stopping the evil druid.
Oh, he's a druid? Oh, okay.
He's a good druid.
Oh, fair enough.
Also, I forgot to... Also, there's another druid that popped up who I think is his sister. She is their guidance counselor, and she is played by Kendra the Vampire Slayer from Buffy. So this lady is making career out of minor roles in supernatural teen television.
I see.
But she's
I
kind
don't
of
know who she is.
She just has a lot of minor roles. She's been Buffy and Teen Wolf, and she's in Vampire Diaries.
She also doesn't age.
So clearly she's a vampire.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Clearly.
Oh, if you like soundtracks and stuff, I do suggest the soundtrack to Teen Wolf because it has some cool songs on it.
It's run by MTV, so they have the rights to all the
A
best
lot of songs.
up-to-date music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They have all the pop songs that are in. Also, there's some beautiful product placement moments. Like Scott and Allison are making out in their car, and then they're like, "We could use some music. Good thing I have Pandora in my new car. Pandora, the best for music." Blah blah blah.
Oh my.
So what do you think about Teen Wolf?
Me?
Yes.
It sounds like a thing.
It's definitely a thing.
I can see why someone would like it, but I cannot for the life of me imagine sitting and watching it.
It helps whenever I watch it with like a big group of friends.
That probably helps.
So cause oh my gosh, if you watch the show live, like with MTV will like have hashtags of moments. And like some of their hashtags are like really, really dumb, or they'll misspell like something, but like they did one where it was like hashtag damn it, but they put it in it, so it's like damn it. I don't know, it was weird.
It seems like a very cute show. That is the impression I am getting.
Yes.
And then I'm trying to think if we missed anything.
Oh, there's this new deputy that's really cute.
Oh, they also do a good job of mixing in humor really well. Like when Daddy Werewolf Hunter was arrested, all the shit he was carrying was confiscated, and so when the deputy's giving him back his stuff, there's one like taser that the deputy's like, "I'm not giving this back to you," and Werewolf Hunter Dad's all like, "I have a permit for that," and he's like, "I'm pretty sure that even if you did have a permit, this weapon's illegal." And the sheriff comes by and is like, "Just give it back to him," and the deputy's like, "Sheriff, this has enough voltage to be a lightsaber." I like that they keep like realistic, like if a dude's gonna walk around with all this like bullshit weaponry, like someone's gonna raise an eyebrow.
Oh yeah. No, I think we covered everything.
Yeah, and we're about at the hour mark, so we have now explained to you the wonders of Teen Wolf world.
It sounds like a deeply nuanced world. Without shirts.
They also really like to pretend they're smarter than they are, where they're like, Shakespeare once said, and then they quote
I
Shakespeare.
do gotta say, after having it explained, it's almost refreshing because, like, Kel knows that my mom watches a lot of supernatural werewolf and vampire shows, and it's kind of refreshing basically being introduced to a werewolf lore that is werewolves are inherently nice and cuddly.
Yeah.
They're friendly. They're all about friendship and love.
They're all about, being the shonen hero that wins with the power of friendship.
That's kind of refreshing. Gotta say. Corny, but refreshing.
Yep. I feel like that's a good way to sum up Teen Wolf. Corny, but refreshing.
That's a really good way to sum it up.
I have a lot of friends who think the characters are hot. And I do not disagree, and I do not agree with them, but I respect their opinions.
Yeah. All right, well, that has been the second episode of Ask Me About My Draculas. Thank you for listening to us explain Teen Wolfs.
And thanks for being on the show, Amanda.
Thank you.
All right. Later, everybody. Catch us 2 weeks from now. It is May 16th when we will be discussing Vampire Nights with Blue Delaquanti.
I'm excited about this.
All right. Later.